Aju. Yes, thank you for that prayer. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Good morning. Yes, happy Sunday. Today is the first Sunday of the month, so it's nice to see all of you guys here today. As we begin our service, first we actually want to start off by offering a greeting to our Heavenly Parent and to our true parents in Jesus. So, in our heavenly tradition, we want to greet our parents, our Heavenly Parent, and our true parents who are our founders and who are helping guide us to, become true children of God. So let's face the picture up front. Yes. 천지인 참부님께 경배. 바로. 아주. And yes, now we'd like to actually recite a part of our family pledge as blessed families striving to, bring about a heavenly unified world, a heavenly kingdom here on this earth. We like to recite this family pledge as a part of our commitment. So family pledge number 1. Our family, the owner of Chonoguk, pledges to seek our original homeland and build the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven, the original ideal of creation, by centering on true love. Aju, amen. If our God is with us, if our God is for us, if our Heavenly Parent loves us, who could ever stop us? What could stand against us, right? Aju, right? We can do anything if we know how much our Heavenly Parent loves us and if we're chasing towards that. And, right, there's a couple of people who had such amazing experiences with God this year to experience His power, experience His love, and grow themselves as, beautiful children of God. So, I want you guys to help me. Or, first off, there's 5 people here who went to Next Gen Missions, and they are back here this Sunday. And actually, before we hear from them, we want to watch a recap video from their year. So if you guys would all like to be comfortable, be seated, we will watch that together and catch a glimpse of what they experienced. Yes, it will be coming up on the screen.
Counting the days that you lost over and over. No one said it's easy, but it's easy to forget what they say. Another hour, doesn't matter if it helps you to take back all the days that you lost. Anything can happen if you want it enough. I know it shouldn't hurt to get out of bed. The buttons on my shirt come undone, weigh me down like they're made out of lead. I think I'm getting worse. I don't remember happy, and all I wanna do is sleep until I forget. But even when I start to dream, every little piece of me gets a little close to the edge of darkness. I know I've been here before, long as I'm not falling off, I'll be fine. If you need a minute, take a minute like it's all that you got. Another hour, doesn't matter if it helps you to stop counting the days that you lost over and over. No one said it's easy, but it's easy to forget what they say. Another hour, doesn't matter if it helps you to take back all the days that you lost. Anything can happen if you want it enough. I know it isn't much, but I slept through the night. I opened up my curtains so I'd hear the birds get a taste of the light. I think I'm getting better, even if it's slowly. I'm not in a rush to get anywhere fast. But even when I start to dream, every little piece of me gets a little close to the edge of darkness. I know I've been here before, long as I'm not falling off, I'll be fine. If you need a minute, take a minute like it's all that you got. Another hour, doesn't matter if it helps you to stop counting the days that you lost over and over. it's all that you've got. Another hour, doesn't matter if it helps you to stop counting the days that you lost. Over and over. No one said it's easy, but it's easy to forget what they say. Another hour, doesn't matter if it helps you to take back all the days that you lost. Anything can happen if you want it enough. Oh, 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 oh. Anything can happen if you want it enough.
Hello guys. Yeah, you saw that beautiful, wonderful video. That was from the All of NGM year. Yeah, there was 5 of us this year. It was myself, my brother Matthew, Misan, Sua, and Paulina, all from Seattle, Washington. So representing the 5 people. Yeah, it was honestly a beautiful year. It was so different from. Oh, hey, nice photo. Yeah. It was a really beautiful year. It was very different from a lot of the other programs. But I just want to, like, a little bit specific of a topic. It's from one small portion, the Korea trip. It was just after the Japan part. But yeah, we were able to do a little pilgrimage in Korea. We were, going around learning about the history of our two parents and what they did, what the effects were, and what life looked like there. And so mine specifically is about the Rock of Tears. Honestly, I had a lot of concepts of what it looked like. I imagined it to look like Pride Rock from The Lion King, just like this huge, like, grand rock. And yeah, I mean, they kind of told us, okay, we're gonna go on a hike. And I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I've grown up here. My concept of a hike is very different than other people. But yeah, I almost hiked past the rock, and they're like, "Yo, guys, the rock is right here." So, it's like, it's not anything especially grand, but what it does have is a view of like the overall city, and it's just one excerpt from one of the Hyundai case. At the time of the Korean War, I looked at the Busan port filled with freight vessels carrying weapons. And I think at that point, I was kind of thinking about what the view would have looked like if you were sitting on that rock, or if you were making prayer there. And, it looks nice in the moment, but really, if you really were to be in the moment that, Father was praying there, it wouldn't have looked pretty at all. It would have looked very gray, very smoky, very ugly, and full of, pain. And to Father, in all of his prayers, he's like making, hopeful prayers. He's making prayers of, restoration, prayers that everything can come together, even while, like, essentially looking down, like, war is happening, war is real in that moment. So obviously I had my prayer there. They had a few, like, prayer points that we wanted to share there. But yeah, I did mine, and we did a second part where we kind of climbed up higher on the mountain. And I was just like, okay, since I had my experience here knowing a little portion of what it would have been like, I want to go up to the top of this peak, and I want to figure out what Father's heart is. And I didn't want to stop. So I actually ran up the hill, and I did not pace myself. I went really fast, and then I got really tired really quick. So I was like at the front, and then some people passed me, and then more people passed me. Before I knew it, I was basically at the back. And it was just like, it was kind of humbling because, even when you want to understand something or you want to grow in something, it's not always easy. Even if you have a passion in mind, it's not just by going full blast into it that everything kind of works out. And I got a better view of the port from there. But yeah, it's just like, it's really beautiful actually. It's just to me the whole point of this like little journey was like, you know, really how beautiful everything was, and in the time that Father was there, how painful everything looked. I think one of the feelings you can really like maybe exemplify is that of like a fire. When you have like your own house and your own personal belongings, your own buildings, something that means a lot to you. You go there and you look at it and it's burned down. It's ashes and it's black and there's nothing there in the remnants. And you have to make hope from that. You have to make a step forward from that. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And in those moments, you want to blame the circumstances. For me, I wanted to blame like everybody else, or even the fact that I like pushed myself so hard. It's like, oh, I doubted that I could even make it to the peak. I went so fast. I was like, I had to sit down and like give myself a moment. Like, can I actually do this? And yeah, it's like, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Yeah, pushing yourself is, we use the term burnout, and that's something that happens a lot. And you know, it definitely seems pretty bleak in those moments. I'm sure one very simple example would be like finals, when you're trying to do something, or just even your job. You're just doing something every single day, and it seems like nothing else is going to come from it. But it's in that moment that you find something. It's your choice. That's my main point. It's your choice to decide, am I going to continue the rest of the way? Am I going to continue to look for the good in these things? That's the whole, like, the beautiful thing of Father's journey, is that even despite all the circumstances, still being able to push 100%. And even now, even in this current day and age, our mother is currently in a place that she shouldn't be. And we're here now, and we want to decide, we're in this, crossroad. Do we want to decide that it's a bleak point, or do we just want to move forward? Do you want to take that extra step and look for hope in those things? So while it's a really small moment of just going to the Rock of Tears, I learned it's not just a place of sorrow and misery, but it's also a place of hope and bright light and shining and all these beautiful things that we can have throughout our day. So I think just to end my testimony, just look on the brighter side. Look for the hope when it seems bleak. Stand in your faith when it feels like there shouldn't be when there shouldn't be at all. One wise person said, "Doubt your doubts." So I really want to hold on to that. I want you guys to also learn that lesson from me too. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. Oh yeah. Wait. Next is Matthew.
Thank you. I won't try too hard to make my testimony like a morning service or anything, but just more like an experience, of what I did on NGM, and I decided it would be good enough as a testimony because it's something I can speak from the heart instead of like words on a paper I have to read out. But it's about an internal goal I had. So throughout NGM or even GPA, maybe STF, you set like internal goals for yourself. You always have the external goal where you have like the money, and then you have your internal goal. You usually like put a mantra, and then you set action steps for yourself to chase how to, I guess, get to the status or work towards this internal goal. So the internal goal I was going to be talking about for this. Oh shoot, hi Yanash. Sorry, I thought you. Anyways, my internal goal that I decided to strive for in the second half was to be true to myself. If I recall correctly, I think I've already talked about like self-value after coming back like in winter break, like how my journey was so far. And I was just talking a little bit about like, finding that my value is something that's more permanent. And like I decided that using the word worth makes more sense than something like value, because worth sounds a little bit more unchanging, and kind of like that your worth was always constant and received from like Heavenly Parent all the time. And so going for my internal goal of being true to myself was like the next step. So I was always looking at like these like different like points I could go over for my internal goal around like after winter break. And I noticed in my notebook, I already put it in there, but I only noticed that after months later, I started pursuing it. So I was in the Bay Area with my community, and then near the end of like our first like mission 3, basically we went there twice, but at the end of the first half, Reverend Thompson, he was giving one of his lectures, and he was talking about people on the deathbed, and like a lot of them have like a common like final like wish, or that they wish they were true to themselves the whole time. Usually sometimes people try to play out their lives to make someone else happy, especially like when you grow up like in an environment where it's like there's expectations or pressures or whatnot. I've heard really early stories about like the very first, second generation, like people expected them to be like flying around the room and stuff. Like they're expecting like magical people to come out from the blessing. And like I know sometimes like second generation would sometimes have like this feeling, or maybe like indirect pressure of like expectation. And so like growing up into that, I was always assuming like I kind of had to like be the perfect ideal person that would make someone else happy and smile. I didn't understand like the concept of Hyojeon so well before. I thought it was kind of like serving others and you're happy that they look happy, you know. But I wasn't really thinking about serving others because you truly want to do it from your heart and it makes you happy wanting to serve others. So I was able to learn about filial piety. And then we had spring competition coming up, and spring competition is a great like mission where you can start focusing on your internal goals a lot. It's kind of like the typical like GPA like self-growth focused oriented. And so I went in there with a lot more passion or like inspiration than I did into winter competition, because I wasn't really like aligned with the goal there. It was more like I kind of just need to pick something so I can say it for my internal goal. But this time I went in and I had a goal in mind. I was there in spring competition with the team, with a few others, including Paulina. So I think she saw me a little bit on the journey. But to summarize what I learned about being true to myself, I just wanted to say how important it is that if you can't be authentic, then you don't really learn much. Like, for example, Camp Summit. We have all these experiences and DP lectures, and like you can experience like a whole year of mission, maybe 3 years of GPA, and you can have all these experiences, but what matters most is if you are able to digest it. So like in Camp Summit, we weren't just receiving lectures, but we also had to do lecture practice. There was something to apply it into. So it's what you choose to do with the experiences that makes you grow. And the same thing goes with your life of faith. If you like decide to put on a mask or like pretend something that like you're not actually on the inside, then you're not going to grow in that. So I realized I had to kind of like clear the table and just set like a clear foundation where it could be direct and honest. And not just honest, but transparent as well. I think that's very important, being able to just kind of be transparent. After 100K, you don't just say, oh yeah, that was really good. I remember this one thing, like paragraph 2, the 3rd sentence, that was kind of cool, stuck out to me. But you say like what you learned from it, or if you didn't, you don't try to pretend like you got something from it. Just say, oh, I didn't get something from this, or maybe this was a little bit challenging to me. But being able to say directly like everything openly and honestly, I figured that was so important because that allows you to go through your growth. And so with spring competition, when I was talking to people and I was fundraising to them, because that's what we had to do, I had to be a lot more genuine and sincere. But that meant it would hurt me harder if someone would reject me, because I was being more open and vulnerable. But because I was able to do that, I had this foundation of sincerity, and I was able to be truly open and honest and follow and stick to my core values. So I just want to say how important it is to be aligned and open and honest. So that was mostly what I wanted to share. I just thought it was inspiring to talk about it, maybe. But yeah, I can wrap it up, and I would like to invite someone else to give their testimony, also for my spring competition team, Polina. Let's give a big round of applause.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Matthew. Yes. Yeah, I'm another participant of NGM, and I had a great year. I'm so happy that I got to go on NGM, and actually, I'm really happy I got to experience it when it changed too. After going through like half the year as community time and like many other opportunities, actually, we got to go like to Japan and Korea, and you saw the like wrap-up video, and like us as some of us got to go to Ocean Challenge and like all these different things that I feel like GPA didn't get to experience. So times are changing and it's exciting. And yeah, if I could share one big thing, NGM gave me the environment to learn to live together with God and to start to understand and relate with true parents. Yeah, so I just want to share a story. I was experiencing the ups and downs of like the first half of the year, and then it was coming towards that time, the springtime, we were going to go to Korea. I was like, yes, oh my gosh, I love Korea, I want to go to Korea. But of course we were doing like preparation too. So more than just a fun trip, I wanted it to be a really meaningful experience and something that I can connect to. Because I knew that we were going to be going to the places that true parents were in, like true parents' home, and these places that were established like by first generation and all these things. Yeah. So I remember like the conditions before and like the prayers and investing before. I was telling myself that I want to imagine like how would the true parents do this, or what would God do in this situation? Because up until then, I feel like still the first half of the year, I couldn't really understand like true parents so much. But they're like the founders of our movement. They're a big part of like who we are as a movement. So I just wanted to understand that more. I felt like I had a stronger connection with God, but not so much with true parents. So that's what I wanted to work on, and I was setting these goals. I'm trying to pray and read and do these different things. And then the time came, we were gonna go to Korea. And I felt really ready. I felt really good and excited to go. And yeah, we had many experiences. Daniel shared one of these experiences. I'm sure everybody else had really great experiences. I got to go to the blessing that you saw, and like these first churches that were built, and just be in Cheongbyeong. Cheongbyeong is so beautiful. I loved it there so much. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, I feel like the Spirit like the second I stepped into the place. But as the days went on and I was experiencing things and just like meeting more people, we kind of had some freedom while we were there too. We had some time to visit like some of the fun like cafes, or like just spend time like in the nature there. They have like different trees, like the tree of blessing. You can go, and they don't make you, but you can go to the night vigil. It's like 3 hours long. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. So, and actually ended up being really good experience for me. But one main part that I want to share is about when we had like this pilgrimage. So one place I went to was the Paju Wanjang. It's essentially the like burial site for like true family, and you can go and you can like pray over like these past family members, and like offer something to them. So at that point we read 100K in the morning, like saying like who this person is, and I'm like, I don't know anything about these people, but they're important, so I'm gonna do my best to try and understand like who they are, like where they came from. So yeah, we're reading this, and then on the bus ride there I'm reading about them, like, yeah, okay, wow, like this happened to them, or they did this. So but I wasn't really feeling it much. I was just trying, like, okay, understand. And then we got there, and it's very quiet, very calm. You know, they're setting this atmosphere, and we're like offering flowers, and we're offering prayer. And we were together, and then at one point they gave us a time they said, okay, now you have like however much time, like 30 minutes. You can go to any like person or any site that you want, and you can like offer your own prayer. And I didn't really know where to go. I was like, oh, I know Hyojin's songs are like really good. I know his story about writing like 10,000 songs. Maybe I'll go there, or like this little girl or something. But we ended up as a group. We ended at the site of Jo Won Mo. She's the mother of True Mother's mother. So yeah, I ended up didn't really move my feet. And I was kind of like, okay, I will start here. And yeah, I read more about like her life and like how it connected to True Mother. And yeah, I was just trying to pray, like honestly. And yeah, I don't really know how it happened, kind of spiritual experiences just kind of like happen. You can't really force them. But then you start like feeling something. You either like realize something, you feel some connection, and yeah, I had this experience where I felt like, wow, like motherly heart. I feel like I've been connecting so much to father's side. I was reading more of True Father's like Hyundai actually, so I really felt like kind of like in a fighting, like I'm gonna invest on the front lines kind of spirit. And then this was the first time that I kind of got to feel like more of like motherly heart. I feel like, wow, like if Jo and Mo didn't do this, then she wouldn't have this daughter, and then True Mother wouldn't be here, and like all of these things were kind of coming to me in my mind. And then our time was up, like 30 minutes. I'm like, how is it already done? I have to go. Like, I was only here. I didn't get to even pray to anybody else or anything. But then I started walking down. I'm walking really slow. Everyone's going, like, everyone's already there, and I'm like, we're still crying, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't want to go yet. I don't want to leave. Like, I'm feeling like I'm leaving this family. And then, yeah, I had this feeling of like, I don't know these people, but I could feel like the sense of like loss and like as if like it was like my family kind of. But then I realized, like, because I was saying to myself, I don't know how to relate. Like, I feel like I've never, like, experienced, like, that much of, like, a loss. Like, I don't really know how to do that. And then, like, it suddenly, like God, like, told me that's not true. That's not true because I do have someone in my family, my grandpa that passed away, but I just didn't know him because he's from Russia, so I didn't know him. And so I couldn't like connect in that way. And then it's like I felt like he was there, and he was telling me like I felt like my family was there too, in a way. So by trying to understand like true parents' family and like what it means, like the importance of family, and like honoring like past generations, and trying to understand the people that you never met, like I came to like even come closer to like my like past family too. So I was able to have that kind of experience. I started crying more, and I was like, wow, like I was feeling like so much love, like of like parental love, like a different kind of God's love that I didn't feel before. And it was so amazing and such like a unique experience that I had. And yeah, I just like it was clarified to me that like love of the family is the most important, and love begins with the family. And yeah, so that's like one of the biggest like many lessons that I learned on NGM, and I'm so grateful that I got to have that experience. And I've been continuing on with a year after that, after Korea. Just trying to understand God and true parents more. And I've had so many great experiences and felt the love of God, and also want other people to feel the love of God. So I have committed to a second year of mission. And yeah, so thank you. Yeah, I really want to like reach out to more blessed children, like second, third, fourth generations, and even people that like want to join our movement or don't know about our movement, and just share like how precious our time is. And I feel like everyone has like their own potential, and I want to continue to grow that for myself, and I feel like I'm called to do that, to to support other people too. So thank you. That's my testimony. Yes. And now, I'd like to invite up another special sister. Maybe you already saw her before. Sua!
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. You already saw this picture, but I'm just gonna be talking about like my overview of the year, not like a specific instance. Even though I had a lot of them, I think it'd just be a great time to show like what I experienced throughout the year and all the people I've met. And so yeah. So starting at the beginning, this is my actionizing, my first team ever on NGM. So we did 10 days of fundraising at the very beginning of the year. Ooh, that was a time. I've never fundraised like business to business before this. I've never like even touched a poster before this experience. So it's definitely like a shock. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way I'm gonna do this the whole year. I remember my first run, it was like the time when you're out fundraising. It's like my first time alone, because yeah, in the beginning they paired us up. I like fundraised for like 30 minutes and I like sat down. I'm like, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like looking at plane tickets. I was like, I'm not doing this. There's no way. Because it was so challenging. It's like so out of my comfort zone. And I think that's like one really good thing about NGM. I'm looking at the high schoolers right now. It's a really good time for you to step out of your comfort zone. It's a really good time to push and grow yourself. Because you're doing things you've never done before, or you'll probably never do again in your life. But I feel like the lessons you learn are really valuable and really life-changing. So yeah, that's the beginning of the year. That's my team. And then after the 10 days of actionizing, we had a short workshop, and then we were sent off to our first community mission. This is something that is pretty new for GPA or just any mission program. You're basically sent to a community, and you live there for a month or a couple months, and you really get to experience the love of God by serving their community. So my first community was in Indiana with Pastor Robert, Pastor Tomomi, and that was my team. I was with them for like 2.5 months. And it was a really good experience. Throughout that time, I was able to learn about witnessing. Like I've never witnessed before in my whole life. They have a couple of really small like colleges close by to the youth center. So we went there a couple times a week, and we invited people to church. We talked to people about these really big questions. That was another thing, like stepping out of my comfort zones, like talking to strangers and diving straight into like the deep questions. So that was a really good experience as well. My team, we were at there's some religious like fair, some sort of thing. It was really fun. It was a really good experience, and it's like our first like team outing. So yeah, that's the picture from there. And then after that, we had a winter competition, which is a really long fundraising condition. This is not all my team. It's like half my team, but that's Ariana and Christina. But this is the time where I feel like it was the most challenging, but I had the most breakthroughs. So yeah, this is when you're really pushed to your limit, like physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally as well. But throughout the experience, you also get to meet God because you have nothing else to rely on. So I might as well rely on God. And I think throughout that experience, I was able to realize that God is there, God is always watching, and God is always working. That was like one of my main takeaways from winter competition. I'm really grateful I got to have that experience, though I never want to go through that again. So props to Felina for doing a second year, and me son. So yeah, that was a really good experience, and I like went home with like a spiritual high from that. And so yeah, I was gonna include a picture of Bay Area. I thought I did, but turns out I didn't. But we went to the Bay Area. That was my second community. I was with Matthew in that condition. We were there for like 4 months in total, and that was a really good experience. That picture is not from that condition. But yeah, it's being able to experience a different community. Bay Area has a really big youth. And they're really active too as well. and it was really great opportunity to plug into already existing events that they have, but also create some of our own as well. So that was a really good experience. I'm really grateful we got that opportunity. And this is spring competition. So this is like, it was like 10 p.m. probably, and we were like, there's no people, so might as well have a photo shoot, because why not? So that's part of my team. I was with an HTG, missionary from Korea, and then another NGM brother taking that picture. But that was also a really good experience as well. I feel like not as intense as WinterConf for me personally. I don't know about other people, but I was still able to have breakthroughs regarding the importance of listening to your central figure. So I think that was one big thing I took away. I really liked Patty Bard. She's from Minnesota. Yeah, she was my captain. She gave really good morning services, and I feel like I was able to gain a lot, and I feel like God was really able to work through her in that time as well. So I think that was like one of the biggest takeaways I learned from spring mission. And yeah, after that was Japan and Korea. It was so fun. It was really like a trip with all of my best friends. But I think, of course, the most important thing was showing our support for our Japanese brothers and sisters. It was a really like surreal to see so many people gathered in one spot for one cause, and see so much support. And even as we were doing the rally, we saw like people were like watching us, or like there's a crowd in front of us as well. And they weren't like hecklers or like saying boo. They're like in support, or they're just curious about what was going on. So that was a really good experience as well. It's like being able to see like how big our community is and how important it is, and especially the importance of like standing up for what we know is right. So yeah, that was really good. And then right after that was Korea. That's me and a couple sisters in Korea. It was so fun. I think a lot of people had breakthroughs regarding that as well. I think for me, I was able to, I guess, when we visit I think Cheongwon or the palaces that your parents built, being able to see the fruits of like all their labor and realize, wow, like True Parents really built this from the ground up. Just having that realization on the foundation that I stood on, it was really strong. It started with really strong faith as well. So yeah, that was a small takeaway that I had among many. And after that was backpacking, or the last mission. So we did 3 days of fundraising. We stayed in Ohio for a little bit. We had a New York pilgrimage. We visited Manhattan Center, New Yorker. We saw East Garden, Belvedere, all those historical spots. And that was super fun. Also getting to learn the foundation that we stand on, all that True Parents and True Family has built for us. And then backpacking as well, or the summit workshop, being able to learn more about the DP and then see it work in real time in nature as well. So yeah, just like an overview of like what I went through throughout this year. And the most important, most valuable part, I think, was like all the friends and like people I met along the way. Super duper grateful I got to meet all of them and get closer to them and have gained really strong friends of faith, and experience God's love through them as well. So yeah, that's my year. Thank you. Okay, last but not least, I would like to welcome up Misun.
Wow. Were all those testimonies just absolutely inspiring to hear? Can we just give them another round of applause? Yes. Wow. Man, this whole year was a lot. There's many experiences that we've been through, many experiences that, we had like almost like the same schedule in the sense of having the same missions in different communities, but every single one was just completely different. Our experience, how we took away from it, was all different. And I guess I'm just gonna share a little bit of like my experiences when it came to my challenges. I shared a little bit during my winter break when I came back. I don't know if y'all remember what I talked about, because I barely did. But the first thing I really wanted to really gain from this whole year of Next Gen Mission was to grow stronger. What did that look like? Honestly, back then, I didn't know what it looked like. Maybe because I wanted to have stronger physique, or stronger faith, or stronger relationships. But as I reflected more about like that goal nowadays, I realized what I really wanted to gain was that I didn't want to feel weak. And yeah, all of like the answers that I gave when I was basically reflecting about that was just a front, an answer for the sake of having an answer. And of course, when challenges arose, that's when you feel the most weak, because you're being challenged into something that you can't even expect. Actually, I really hated the feeling of being challenged, because I felt so weak and powerless that I couldn't be able to just brute force through all of it. And that's also when I learned the most about myself, was that when I felt the most weak, that's when I felt when I am shedding tears is when I felt the most weak. And so as my mission time continued, I went through New Jersey. Was with Polina during that time, New Jersey. I kind of talked about it a little bit during my last time here. And after that was winter camp. I think that was one of my more pivotal moments, going through a fundraising condition. You're out there for like 28 days or like a month or so with this whole team. And actually, the first time I ever broke down while out on the front lines, like out in the streets fundraising, was on my birthday. I don't remember if I talked about it, but basically what happened was I literally only talked to one person that day. And as I walked out of that building, I looked straight ahead of me. It was just a bush, and I just cried. I felt so overwhelmed by different kinds of emotions that I don't even know like where it came from, but all I knew was that I am weak. I told myself constantly, why couldn't I just keep moving forward? Why couldn't I just keep pushing myself to just approach just one more person that God has sent me? And yet I just stood there and cried. I was confused. I didn't know what to do. I felt so alone. I felt like I didn't even have God with me in that moment. Of course, luckily this story had a happy ending. I was able to be with my team. I was able to talk it out with my captain. But that wouldn't be the first time I felt this way. And it will never be the last time. And there's another competition that many of my other graduating class also talked about, was spring competition. I felt that this competition was going to be different. I was gonna make it different. And my goal for that time, I had gone through so much, I had experienced so many things. I knew that I was stronger now, and I'm not gonna cry again. I'm not gonna be giving up, I'm just gonna keep moving forward. And I was entirely wrong. That goal went out the window after the first week. And this spring competition, of course, many tears were shed. After a first week, I was just investing. I was just pushing myself through, trying to maybe like just find a breakthrough in like external result, internal goals and whatnot. But after that first week, I just cried because I was so tired. I was exhausted. What am I missing? But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna focus on that. I gotta keep moving forward so that I can be a vessel for God to reach more people. Why would God want to work with someone who can't even talk to the next person right there? So that was my mindset as I went through this spring competition. But I realized just how painful it was to go through fundraising or life in general in that sort of mindset. When you're just pushing away all of these problems, all of these emotions, just so that you can keep moving forward blindly, not even with steps ahead of you. And that happened every single week. It was 28 days of every single week where I just pushed forward, cried, broke down, talked to my captain, stood back up again, and did the same thing over and over and over again. And finally, the last week, I was just sitting in the van. It was the Blitz, and I was just like crying to my captain. I want to give up. I want to find something. What am I trying to gain out of this time? And I didn't know what I wanted to gain at the end. And my captain was like, he knew there wasn't really anything else that he could give me. But actually, what's funny is that this captain was the same captain I had for winter comp. So he had to deal with me again. But thing that stuck with me the most was this one moment where it's just like, you just need to have belief in yourself that you can do it. And he told me to say, I can do it. I was doubtful, like, okay, I can do it. That's what I said. And he's just like, no, say it again, louder. And I was like, I can do it. And he was just like, no, again, louder, so that spirit world and God can hear you. And I said it again, and more tears continued to stream out of my eyes as I realized that at the end of the day, what was I doing this for? Who was I doing this for? It was for God at the end of the day. But because of not being able to invite him with me throughout these struggles, throughout these challenges, God wanted to comfort me. But I ignored it because I just wanted to keep moving forward because I wanted to comfort God. But in the end, God wanted to comfort me. And so, yeah, perseverance isn't just about pushing forward. Keep moving forward. Just like finding strength to just keep going forward. If you're just going forward without any steps ahead of you, you're just going blindly without really seeing the rocks or the close ahead of you. It's kind of funny because that's kind of what Daniel talked about, the very first testimony. And now I'm running it with this. And so, actually, I want to do just a little bit of a call and response from the crowd. The title of this testimony for me is actually, Don't Back Down, Never What? Never Give Up. And so, when I say don't back down, never what, I want you guys to say never give up. So, don't back down, never what?
Never give up.
Louder. Don't back down, never what?
Never give up.
I want to hear you guys really say it. Say it so that heaven and God and spirit world can hear you. Never back down, never what?
Never give up.
And that's what NGM is really all about. Being able to invite God with you through your challenges, through your life, through your faith. And so thank you very much. And thank you to the Next Gen missionaries. I hope you guys were able to gain something, not just listen. Thank you.
Wow, thank you to all those beautiful testimonies, and that was a wonderful conclusion. Thank you to all our NGM graduates. Please give them a hand for completing and graduating. Yeah, thank you for sharing your testimonies. I think how Misan said, I felt that's what our movement is. We have not backed down and will never give up. I can't say it as loud because I'm, but yeah, that's what we are. We never back down and we'll never give up, right? And that's what true parents did too. They never backed down and they never gave up. And yeah, so with that spirit that the NGM missionaries brought back to this community, let us move forward with that same energy and never give up. And yeah, I don't want to share much, but I just want to really appreciate how much they committed to this journey and in finding God. And that's the beauty of it. Some were ready to get a flight back home. Others were ready to give up, but they still kept fighting until the end. And that's the beauty of the journey of finding God. And seeing young people doing that really moves me, and it really moves God that there are children out there who are yearning to connect with him, yearning to connect with her, and they're not giving up because God is always searching for us. God never stops searching for us. And seeing us searching for him is really moving, a really moving moment for God too. So I'd like to invite us all, to invite the NGMers back here. We want to pray for you, and we also want to appreciate you, and then we'll all offer a prayer for them to conclude this service.